Hi everyone, my name is Janey Santos. I have a YouTube channel called Dig, Plant, Water, Repeat. I am a flower-obsessed master gardener based out of the Sacramento area, and I'm here at Green Acres Nursery and Supply in Elk Grove. Today, I want to talk to you all about my favorite plant brand, Proven Winners. I am so happy to announce that Matsuda's and Proven Winners are teaming up to grow Proven Winners annuals, perennials, and shrubs for all of you here at Green Acres. I love Proven Winners. They're known as the brand that gardeners trust, and there is a reason for that. If you see this white can on the shelves here at Green Acres, you know that you are going to get a plant that is going to perform beautifully for you in your garden. The reason why I know that is Proven Winners extensively test these plants at their research and development facility. They go through thousands of plants to pick the very best one to put in this can and send to you so that you can have success in your garden. So let me tell you about my absolute hands down favorite plant from Proven Winners. I call this the OG. This is Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. It is a petunia, but it is so much more than a petunia. Proven Winners actually calls it a Supertunia, and they call it a Supertunia Vista. This plant, if you can believe it, it starts out in this 4-inch pot. It's going to grow to about 4 feet wide. I kid you not. And it is going to be covered with these gorgeous pink blooms. When I started off gardening, I was really nervous. I was going to kill every single plant that I brought home from the garden center. I brought home 7 of these Supertunia Vista Bubblegum that I found at the garden center, and I planted them. I watered them, I fertilized them, I took care of them, and they blew up in my garden. I had every single one of my neighbors stopping by to give me compliments on my Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, and from then on, I was hooked. There are different varieties of Supertunias that you can get from Proven Winners, from the classic Supertunia to the Supertunia Mini Vista, which are smaller size flowers, but still incredibly vigorous, and then finally the Supertunia Vista, which actually climbs on top of itself and just keeps growing and growing and growing. If you want to get major bang for your buck out of plant, grab one of these Supertunias and plant them in your garden. Keep them watered and keep them fertilized. That's really important. These plants, one of the reasons why they are so prolific is they're bred to not set seed. What that means is this plant is going to grow, it's going to bloom, and then a normal plant will always try and set seed before it dies. But since Proven Winners has bred this plant to not set seed, this plant is just going to keep blooming and blooming and blooming its little heart out, trying to set seed. And what we get from that, because this plant has bred to be sterile, we get a plant that blooms all season long. And when I say all season long, I'm not kidding. It's March now, and this plant will bloom all the way into November. Now, this plant is sold as an annual, but let me tell you, here in the Sacramento area, we are in zone 9B, and that makes us really, really special. A lot of plant brands will put the name annual on a plant like this because in most places of the country, the cold winters will kill this plant. Because we live in such a mild climate though, most of the time this plant and others will actually overwinter, and you can consider this a short-lived perennial. Just make sure you give it lots of fertilizer so it can keep blooming and cut it back at the end of the year. The other thing I want you to think about when you're growing a plant like Supertunia Vista Bubblegum is I want you to think about some of the pests that we have around here. One of the main pests that we have that attack petunias and attack calibrachoa are budworms. They are my arch nemesis. They're little green worms that come from white butterflies, and they will crawl around and hide in the foliage of this plant and eat the beautiful pink blooms off of this plant. You won't even notice them. I promise, you won't even see them. And so if you notice your plant is not blooming as much as you think it should, I want you to consider that you might have budworms. It's really easy to care for budworms. Go to Green Acres Nursery and Supply and ask for something called Bacillus thuringiensis. It's actually a natural bacteria found in our soil that is extracted and used as a spray. You can spray that on your Supertunias or your calibrachoas, and that will make sure that the budworms don't eat your precious blooms. blooms. So proper watering, proper fertilizing, and watching out for pests is going to keep these blooming in your garden all season long. And I promise you, one can is going to cover an area this wide, and your neighbors are all going to be jealous of you. So like I was saying, Proven Winners has different varieties of Supertunias. Not only different colors, but also different sizes, I would say. So Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, what I was telling you before, is gonna be the biggest, the most prolific. Then we have Supertunia Mini Vista, which are very prolific, but they're smaller blooms. And then finally, we have the classic Supertunia, which is gonna be super prolific as well as compared to other petunias, but they're just not as big as the Supertunia Vistas. Let me tell you about two new Supertunias that just came out this year from Proven Winners that I'm so excited about. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a pink girl. I love pink flowers. It's one of my favorite colors to plant. I'm just completely attracted to it, like I'm a 5-year-old girl, right? This one is called Supertunia Tiara Pink. And the reason why it's called Tiara is because it has a white eye and then it fades out to this really saturated color, and it almost sparkles if you look at it from afar, just like a tiara would sparkle. Proven Winners came out with Tiara Pink, and then there's also Tiara Blue, which is just as beautiful, but a purplish blue color. Now, the interesting thing about these two plants is that although they're both Supertunias, the Tiara Pink is actually more vigorous than the Tiara Blue. So it's kind of fun to understand the different Supertunias, what you want to plant in your garden, what color you want. There's so many options, and Green Acres Nursery and Supply has them here now. So another really great plant from Proven Winners that you're gonna find at Green Acres Nursery and Supply is Superbells. Now, Superbells are just like Supertunias. It's basically petunias times 10. These are calibrachoas times 10. You're gonna find these in every single color you can imagine. And this one is one of the new ones that I'm really excited about. It's called Superbells Magic Pink Lemonade. And the reason why it's called Magic is that the blooms will actually change color as the season goes on. It's called Pink Lemonade, of course, because we have hints of pink, yellow, and coral. So at a certain point, you're gonna see blooms of all three colors on one plant, which is absolutely incredible. You wanna care for Superbells the same way that you care for Supertunias. You wanna make sure you water them appropriately. You wanna make sure you fertilize them, and you wanna make sure that you watch out for some budworms. These guys like a little bit drier of an environment, drier roots than Supertunias. So you can actually plant these in hanging baskets, and they're gonna be so happy even in our Sacramento heat. Another variety of Superbells that I love is Superbells Lemon Slice. To me, this is the OG of Superbells. It has this gorgeous, gorgeous white and yellow striped bloom that you are gonna be able to see from all the way across your yard. I have actually planted this in my garden, and it's overwintered for multiple years. So it's another one of those plants that's gonna say annual on the tag. But just remember, for those of us here in the Sacramento area, we are so lucky because we have mild winters, and so these plants are going to last for multiple years for you in your garden. So head to your local Green Acres and look for the white can with Proven Winners on it. You are going to get a fabulous plant for your garden this season. And I want to remind you, although these plants say annuals, we are so lucky here in the Sacramento area. Zone 9B, a lot of these plants are going to overwinter for us. So you're going to be able to consider them perennials. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Now, speaking of our mild climate, I am so excited to announce the Best for the West collection. The Best for the West collection is a curated collection of plants that I have put together with Proven Winners of all plants that do really well in our heat and our dry climate. They are 12 plants, annuals, perennials, and shrubs that I have tested in my Sacramento area garden and found to perform beautifully. They are going to be located at your local Green Acres coming up this season. So head to your local Green Acres today to find some Proven Winners. I hope you have a chance to get in your garden today.